Welcome to Ground Up Growth. I'm Hannah Pittman, founder of Pittman Marketing, alongside my co-host Paul Hopper, principal broker of Hopper Real Estate Leaders. Together, we sit down with entrepreneurs and business leaders to share insights, strategies, and lessons to help you build success from the ground up.
Welcome back to Ground Up Growth. We've got an exciting guest today, but before we get into that, I want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Homewell Care Services. You will hear more about Homewell during the middle of the episode. Today's guest, we have two guests today, Mr. Jeff and Miss Shelby Taylor with Two Men and a Truck here in Ridgeland, Mississippi. Thank y'all so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
We're
Thanks, Hannah.
excited to unpack this. Here we go. So I'm bad about puns.
Hey, yeah, I don't know if it's natural or what, but every episode there's so many puns
Let's
from
unpack
whatever.
it.
Unpack.
Yeah,
Okay.
you did good.
I'm excited to have y'all on. I mean, Two Men in a Truck is one of the most well-known brands, in my opinion. I hear that all the time. Just being in the branding space and marketing, people admire it so much. So everyone will know that. But so y'all have the Ridgeland location here.
That's right.
Which is one of two in Mississippi.
One of two. There's one on the coast. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, been in for almost 30 years here.
That's
30
awesome.
years. How long has Two Men in a Truck been around?
Started franchising in the mid 80s.
Really?
And so, based in Michigan, single mom, two college boys.
Really?
That's where Michigan State's in Lansing. And so she actually worked for the state of Michigan. And in the summers, her two boys just had an old pickup truck and was just helping folks do odd jobs. And she said, well, I can at least try to get them some work. So she put an ad in the paper, Two Men in a Truck. And
She
they
drew
started
this.
she did. She
She drew
dabbled
that
this
truck.
on a little cocktail napkin while she was talking to the customer. And they went back to
doodling.
school. She kept getting calls. And so she's still working for the state. She hired two guys, bought a $300 box van, only money she ever put into it. And now it's about an $800 million, not just domestic, but it's in 5 or 6 other countries.
Is it really?
That is so cool.
Yeah,
Goodness.
Yeah.
UK, Australia.
yeah. And she's, the family is out of the business. They sold that several years ago, but she still to this day, she will respond to every social
No
media
way.
post that Shelby puts on.
I've met her
yeah.
and she's like, "You're doing
Really?
great."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She
And she's probably mid 80s.
comments, still
Great.
follows all the franchises, and will
Great.
comment on Facebook and stuff.
That's so
It's
neat.
incredible. That says a lot about the
Very
culture.
personable.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about y'all. Backstory, career.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you
Okay.
started it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Um,
You have
well,
a job
just,
for you.
let's kind of start even before that, I guess. 'cause
Yeah.
that's
Where were
what
you
leads
born?
in. I was born in Auburn, wound up graduating from Auburn. My dad was in education, so we moved around a little bit. So I lived here back in the 70s in the Jackson area. Moved back to North Alabama, and never thought that I would end up back here. Didn't really have any need to. But my senior year, I started dating a Mississippi State girl that I grew up with here
Best
in elementary
ones,
school.
Mississippi State girls.
Go Dogs.
And so we wound up getting married. When we got married, I knew that we would wind up back here because Mama and sisters were all here. So we were in Huntsville for a while. I'm an engineer by trade, so I was in the defense business and worked for NASA for a few years. But I knew we would always get here. And Becky would, in her own subtle way, she would say she would have her Mississippi license, and it kind of bugged me because I said, "Becky, just go get your Alabama license." I just really feel like we'll be back here by this expiration date. And so we were up there like 3 or 4 years,
pressure.
and we were back here before. In fact, when we moved back, Shelby was 3 months old.
Oh,
So she was
wow.
born in Huntsville, but she was 3 months old when we moved back here.
That's neat.
So that's what got us here, and so we've been back here for 35 years, and I worked for a little small private company here, and always kind of had the itch to do something, on my own, but didn't really know what that looked like. And so I started looking at franchising, because it's just got processes and all in place, and that's kind of right up my alley, and kind of wanted something in the service business if possible. Well, I was in Birmingham picking up a buddy heading to an Auburn football game. And I got behind this truck and I said, man, what is that? And it was his response that got my attention. He said, oh man, they're the only game in town. They moved me twice, moved my business, all of this. And I just thought it was a local, and I just thought it was kind of neat. Went to the game, came back, dropping him off, saw 2 more trucks. Saw the website at that time. So I just, curiosity, looked up, saw it was a franchise. And so started researching it and did that for probably a year, 18 months, just to see name recognition and that kind of thing. But in the back of my mind, thinking the whole time, moving,
Yeah.
that wasn't in the plan. But the more I started looking into it, the more I liked it. And when I went up to Michigan and met the family, that's what did it. Met the family, met the people there. There were already, we were the 80th location, and now there's 600 and some odd now.
Golly.
But I got to speak with other franchisees and just quality people, quality organization, and so that was 1999 when we started. And so, back then we started about this time, and it was like, we got to get in the phone book. That's going to determine the trajectory, and can we afford a half-page ad coming out of the gate in the phone book?
No,
Yeah.
Because that was marketing. I mean, that was
I wish
that
it
was
was still that simple.
And so
Be nice.
no social media.
we had no computers in the office. There was no need for it. I think I had a bag phone. I don't know if y'all have ever even heard of a bag phone. And so, which was kind of, it's kind of stupid looking back now, because you're riding down the road and you get a call and you have to unzip this bag, take this bag out while you're driving down the road. And so,
We never saw those.
but I thought I was something. So I just call friends and go, hey, what you doing? No, I'm just riding down the road.
So when
Yeah.
you started, was it 2 men in a truck?
It was,
Or was it?
yeah.
I mean, like, was it
well,
you?
yeah,
you
it was.
started
We
with 2
started with
trucks.
2 men. We started with 2 trucks. And I was wearing really all the hats, but it's neat, Paul, because I started a relationship with Mississippi College and the coach there. And so the first guys that we hired were 5 athletes from Mississippi College. And we didn't have any business because nobody knew that we were here. So literally they would come in, we'd throw them the keys and just tell them, go get hung up in traffic. Keep your radio on. If you hear about a traffic jam, you need to be all in it. Go to County Line Road during lunch. Go over in Brandon on Highway 80 during, that. But you need to be caught in traffic. And that's how we started getting our first business, is through people that would see the truck, and they were, phones hadn't been out just real long. And so that's how we started getting business. And then it just kind of, kept evolving from there. But to this day, we've still got a relationship with Mississippi College in Belhaven, because we try to, we kind of run on a bell curve with a bell time of year when kids are out of school.
Right.
And so we still get
The athletes in the
athletes
summertime.
during the summer, and it lets us keep our full-time guys pretty steady, through the year. And then those other guys come on and they drop back off.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what services do y'all offer? I mean, obviously moving, selling a house and you move, do y'll do out of state? Do you
Yeah, we
tell us a
do.
little bit about,
We can do all of it. Of course, and we'll tell customers, look, without pressure, we're full service, so we can do whatever that you need. But yeah, to this day, there's a lot of folks that still don't know we do interstate moves, which is, out of state. The name kind of lends itself to being local,
Yeah.
Yep.
and so, but about a third of our business is interstate. And so, but we're not set up like a traditional long haul carrier. So we work with one customer at a time. So if you were moving out of state, you wouldn't, there's nobody else's contents on the truck. We're working with just you. There's no other set of logistics. We're either going somewhere empty or coming back empty. And so as long as the amount of the contents and the distance that you're going makes sense, we should be a viable, option there.
And it's the same crew the whole time.
Yeah.
And then whenever you cross state lines, they're calling, letting the customer know what time they'll get there. So customers like to know it's the same crew unloading and loading your furniture
That's great.
after.
Yeah.
do your drivers have to have a CDL?
Yeah, they do. To go interstate, the laws have recently changed to make it easier. Everybody's having the same problem finding drivers, qualified drivers. And so, really, it's just, in essence, a chauffeur's license like you get if you're driving a bus. Our trucks are the Bob trucks, so they're not the big 18-wheelers, which require, but we've got several Class A and Class B, guys that work
Yeah.
there. But everybody's full time. There's no day help, temp help, anything like that. So we've been real fortunate in that regard. Very blessed. As far as the team, we've got a lot of tenure. We've got several 20-year plus folks, a lot of
Wow.
15-year folks in the office, and so
What do you contribute that to? Other than just treating them right.
well, I mean, the culture is real important. And that's not just a catchphrase for us. And so, we've got pool tables and and ping pong tables and gaming and, all of that there. And so there's nothing I love more than hearing, before we meet in the mornings, I'll hear guys, in there playing and,
Yeah.
No, I have
Some
to
of-
kick them out.
yeah,
at the
some of
break
them
room.
may
I'm like,
come
all
and-
right, I have to pick up my child. Y'all got to go.
yeah.
Right.
And
I
so,
think that's huge. I mean, just kind of the culture aspect. I mean, to me, that's what long-term, tenor, that's where it comes from, is people feeling like they're a part of something bigger than just a paycheck.
Yeah.
it is. And, I had a book at one time on on the corner of my desk, How to Relate to Millennials and Gen Z.
That's so funny.
And so I kind of have to reference that, every once
Yeah.
in a while. But, the biggest thing is explaining the why. We talk about the how a lot, but this generation now really, if they can buy into the why, then I mean they will go to bat for you. And so, we certainly have got things that we train to the skill part, but that's going to come. The things that we look for are things that are not necessarily on a resume, because what life shows is death of a loved one, divorce, job loss, and moving day are the top 4 stressors in somebody's life. Where those top 3, death of a loved one, divorce, job loss, may be contributing to the reason that somebody's moving. And so we talk all the time. There is a backstory behind everything. You may get a glimpse of it or you may not, but just know that you might be catching somebody on one of their worst days of their lives. And even if that's not the case, moving's not exactly something that you've got circled on the calendar in a positive way most of the time. And so you're just not yourself.
That's a really good, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Being cognizant of that probably more times than not is, well, it's not a fun day for the client anyway, but it probably could be stem from trauma too.
Yeah. In our
being
own lives,
cognizant
we
of
all
that.
can probably think about cases
Yeah.
of family, extended family, that somebody's had a relocation and what drove that.
Yeah.
When having people come into your home when you're going through something stressful or hard, that's
Yeah.
being vulnerable again, them coming in and packing up all your stuff. So the guys are trained to know that everyone does have a backstory, and our job is just to make it as less stressful as possible from the moment they call us to get a quote until the moment we unload at their new house.
That's huge. And I told, we recently moved, and Paul was our realtor, of course. And I looked at my Aura ring the other day because it tells you all your stats and stuff. And it was like you've
Your
lately
what?
experienced less stress. Like you know what an Aura ring is? Really?
I know. I need to
It's
hop
like a
on the
big
train.
Actually got one.
health tracker thing, and you wear it
It's
like
like
all
an
the
Apple
time.
Watch, but a ring.
And it lasts, like the battery is really long. So like you wear it all the time. And I
What is
charge
it?
it like
What
once
does
a
it
week.
do?
It tells you
Your sleep,
your
your
sleep score,
steps.
your readiness score, all your activity, workouts, steps, and your stress levels. And so it told me like around the time we were moving, my stress level was like here. And it's like not just every day, but just general waves, like patterns. So it told me the other day, you're experiencing less stress now than you did a few months ago. And I looked back and it was around the time we moved. And I've asked him before, like, realtors are, when you're going through that and y'all are in the exact same space, it's like you need some classes on like psychology
Yes.
or like something, because you're kind of helping people. You're a big part of taking someone through that journey.
Let's take a second to talk about today's sponsor, Homewell Care Services. As entrepreneurs and business leaders, we spend so much energy building something that matters, but life doesn't pause for the business. And for a lot of us, that means there's a season where someone we love needs more care than we can give them on our own. Homewell brings trusted, compassionate caregivers right into our home, companion care, personal care, even specialty care for things like dementia or chronic conditions. What makes them different is that every single client gets a dedicated care manager at no extra cost. Someone who knows your family, tailors the plan, and adjusts as needs change. It's not a one-size-fits-all service, it's care that actually fits your life. If you or someone you love is in that season, I'd encourage you to reach out. Visit homewellcares.com to find care in your area. That's homewellcares.com.
Well, in that space of the psychological part of it, of anticipating an event, they say that the anticipation of an event or a certain date or whatever, it produces more stress than the actual event itself.
That makes sense.
Makes total sense.
Yeah. I remember talking
I mean,
to
just
Paul
like
about like, okay, if
Thinking
I
of a
sell this
test in
house,
school or something. It's like the test wasn't the problem. It was
Wondering what it was going to be
having
like.
to skip having fun to study for it.
do you remember when I was like, okay, if we get this house under contract, but then this one we have to sell, then what? And I'm like, we
Yeah.
weren't even close to listing yet.
I'm
And you
probably
were
not
like,
the best,
Are
like
you-
Dr. Phil, because I think I remember
But-
telling you, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
you were like, no, it's
It's
going to
easy.
work
That's what I
out.
got for you, the one-liner.
But you're right. People do it. You anticipate like the
Yes.
event or like what you're about to go through.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think
thought
it's
we were
great
gonna be
that y'all
talking about
train your team
Moving, here we are.
To know.
to
you
know how to deal with that.
Yeah. You don't know what you're walking into before on
That's
this
huge.
stressful moving day. And I mean,
Yeah, it's almost like if you could give, like if you had your people like give the client like let's do something positive, just
Yeah.
to kind of like knock the edge off a little bit, or I don't
Well,
know.
and they're fun. I mean, yeah, our guys, we'll have people say, they were helping me decorate. I didn't know where to put the couch, so he was telling me, and I had to he moved it 3 times for me. And they come back. I mean, I am biased. I say we have the best movers ever because they come back and they're smiling and laughing. And I'm like, how are y'all so happy? Y'all been moving furniture all day, but they just have fun with
That's
it.
incredible.
That's great.
Yeah, you try to keep it light. I mean, because it can get heavy, and it doesn't mean keeping it light means that you're minimizing what somebody's going through, but you certainly can stay positive, and we'll role play, some different situational, kind of things. And I mean, it's amazing just scripting out a couple of things that can just break the ice, because it's kind of like that first 5 minutes of a ball game. You know, they say literally you've got 7 seconds to make a good impression. And so, you know, the greeting when we're seeing a customer, because they've been anticipating, and you just don't know what, again, what their backstory is with moving experience itself, whether
Yeah.
they've done it, what experience they've had. And so, yeah.
And then what they're actually going through, right? What headwinds have you faced along the way? Like COVID, diesel prices. I mean, is there anything that sticks out as like
Labor shortages.
those were some trying times?
Yeah. And Shelby, jump in here because you've been there during it too.
Yeah.
You know, I've had some medical things go on from a personal health perspective, and then involving family. Back about 20 years ago, I had just an unexpected health thing come up, and I was out for a while, and they just didn't miss a beat. And we had not been in business that long. And so that showed me. And then back in 2010, my first wife, Becky, Shelby's mom, got diagnosed with cancer. Was given 6 months, fought for 5 years, and passed away in 2015. Well, for that 5 years, we were as much of a resident of Houston going to NB Anderson as we were here. And it's something how when you're in the middle of it, you're too close to everything that you can't really step outside and see. And I mean, I've oftentimes looked back at that and just thought, I don't know how we stayed in business, because it wasn't because anything that I was doing over there. And I was literally prepared. If it folds, it folds.
Right.
But I'm where I need to be. But everybody just closed gaps, and came together, and probably ran it better than when I was here.
Yeah.
And so, that, obviously very appreciative, and a lot of the folks are still there,
I love that. And I think laying a good foundation with the team, like you talked about, help them understand the why. And of course, you can never anticipate when something like that comes up. But it's like when it does, you have that foundation built so that it comes together and you look up and you're like, I don't know how.
Yeah.
But
And I remember
carried
not
us
worrying
through.
about it. And that's what I'm not a huge worrier about nature anyway, but when I just play that scenario in my head now of being gone for 3 or 6 months at a time, I get myself all worked up now. It's not even happening.
Yeah.
And I think, how did you not just worry? But there were obviously more pressing and important things going on where Goodell was putting everything in the proper perspective. And but it just, it.
Trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That again, it just kind of piggybacks the whole culture deal. I mean, your employees, to bridge that gap when you're gone, I mean, they're bought in, and that, especially the people that were there then and are still there now. I mean, that's family right there. I mean, that's really impressive.
How much do you feel like, so I think you're the first franchise owner that we've had on the podcast.
Maybe so.
And I think it's really interesting that when you were obviously you have like an entrepreneurial spirit in you, but that you immediately started looking at franchise options because of how it already had the systems and product. Like you knew that about yourself and that you wanted to go that route. I think that's really interesting.
I do too.
Yeah, I mean, I'd always heard, I felt like I was working extremely hard, and I thought I might as well do it for myself. But I'd always heard, 9 out of 10 businesses fail the first year.
Yeah.
I did like the processing piece of it. And I wasn't brave enough to start up Jeff's moving service. Would not have dare, do that. And so the cost of doing business, no matter what you're in, is just continues to go up. So I'll often just continue to try to refrain back to whatever royalties that we're paying, fees that we're paying to be part of a franchise system, minus those. Could I get that amount of business without those? And I don't think we could. So the value has been there, and it is a strong system. The franchisee relationship is very strong, and that's really kind of one of the main drivers of any franchise system.
That's,
How much-
that's an interesting take. I like that. I mean, basically, like, you wouldn't have done it. Independently, you wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But you knew you wanted to do it. And then I'm sure there's a support system along with the processing side of things. Like, corporate probably got a support system of everything from probably marketing stuff, new program, new whatever. I would think that's a unique take on that. I like that.
Well, and my perception of moving is the same as everybody else's. It's not just up
not
there,
fun.
And
Yeah.
so. But when I was looking at the franchise system, I didn't look at it. Yes, it's a moving franchise, but it's so much a people,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's how it was kind of presented and framed around. Because as Shelby was saying earlier, people give us really the ultimate privilege in coming into their personal space at a critical time in their life. And so we don't take that for granted at all. And so the people aspect of it, and the fact that I felt like if it's a service that should always be in need. I mean, people are always moving around.
I was thinking
Yeah,
about that
that's
this morning.
recession proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if we could get and keep a good reputation, then, we should stay active. So that technology, and we use a lot of technology. You don't think of the moving industry as being something but we utilize a lot of technology, but it's something that can enhance our business, but not put us out of business, and especially with, AI and things like that. And you're hearing about all these industries and positions and that may become obsolete that you never thought.
Yeah, I would think moving would be AI proof. I mean,
And it would just
Who's gonna
make it
pick that
better,
dresser?
whether it's, I would think, quoting or,
Yeah. And someone this morning said, I didn't know y'all were a franchise. So I kind of like how people think it's just local.
yeah.
We can go out of state, but it's family, independently owned and operated. So when it's franchise, but you are supporting local.
Yeah.
It's locally
that's what I
owned.
love
So
about
like
the
that.
brand. The brand lends itself to looking more locally owned.
Yeah.
But I mean, what a support network you have behind you. It's such a huge.
Oh, that's what sold me. When I went to Michigan, I was like, I love everyone here. I heard all about moving for 3 days and came back and I was like, I never thought that I'd want to work at a moving business. That does not sound glamorous at all.
Yeah.
And then the world of marketing got brought up.
I was
to
going to
me.
ask your story a little bit.
Yeah. Was born in Alabama, but moved here, went to Madison Central, 35 years old, and have a 11, he's 11, almost sixth grader son. His name's Foster. Went to Mississippi State and worked at Old Waverly. So that was my
yeah.
first kind of like big girl job, I guess, in college. Was a waitress, hostess, and a beverage cart girl. And then I helped the director of hospitality with weddings and party planning, and that's what got me into like public relations.
Yeah.
And meeting people and communications. So moved back here after 3 years at Old Waverly, and then worked at an organizing company, which is just random but also needed because we partner with organizing companies a lot.
Love
Worked for an organizing company, and Then Dad said he needed some assistance with some marketing. I guess when you first started, all you had was 2 coffee cups. You said,
Yeah.
and he went to a home show and put the 2 coffee cups. They were gone in 2 seconds. So
Well, the networking and the gift of gab, and it's necessary, but it's just not my.
yeah. He
strong
proposed
suit.
working
Yeah,
at 2 men in a truck, and I was like, what am I going to do there? I'm not going to be moving anything. Like, I'm not going to do that. And he said, no, networking, marketing, brand awareness, get our name out there, make relationships. So I kind of just learned, as I went, kind of got an Instagram, Facebook, and started meeting real estate agents, getting in chambers, different organizations. And then I was like, okay, this is more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and it certainly wasn't planned. Shelby, who's my oldest, has been there for going on 10 years, or maybe even a little older. More. And then my son is on our operations side, and he's been there for 8 years. Neither one of those. My posture was go do something else. I certainly didn't want him to feel that it was a pressure or a loyalty thing or anything like that. So she had worked for several years and doing some other things, and was getting closer within the realm of some of the things that we do. So just having that conversation, was big, but with no real expectations there.
Well, that's got to bring a lot of joy to you too.
It is. I mean, this Sunday's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, by the way.
Same to you.
And so every day for me, in a way, is Father's Day. I mean, I try to keep it light. Don't call me Jeff. Call me Dad. Yeah. At work, and because that's what I am. But we do try to keep things in perspective, and who reports to who and who handles, certain, things like that. And so, the relationship piece is personal relationship, family relationship is what's important.
Yeah.
I don't want any business relationship to interfere with that.
For sure. Absolutely.
Well, and I think with my brother and I, it just, like, sometimes I still look at him like he's a 12-year-old. And now he's part owner of 2 men in a junk truck. And so I just see him adulting and growing and being professional. And it makes me proud. And I'm like, okay, wow. A lot more respect for him, seeing him
Absolutely.
do things on his own and
Yeah.
enjoy it. He enjoys it too.
Well, and they more than pull their weight, so they know
It's a little pressure,
Don't
yeah.
put me in a difficult spot.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any favoritism going on.
Well, let's wrap up episode 1. That was really good. Thank y'all for coming on.